Hey everybody, it's Adrian. So, 20 days ago exactly, my life has changed completely. And the reason why it changed or leveled up is because I did firewalking with Raymond. Who, yeah, it did really change stuff, shifted stuff. Boom. So, before I go on a complete rant and tell you all about it, we've got Raymond with us from RK Life Coaching. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
And tell us why is firewalking such a powerful, life transforming sort of thing? What is it about it? Like I figured it out, but I want to hear it from you.
I think to make it very basic and break it down for the viewers today, if you look at firewalking, in the fire itself, there's nothing mystical or magical. There's been so many inboxes and messages asking why are we worshipping the fire, or how can we think that fire heals or fire can change your life. And we understand that the fire in itself is doing nothing, but the click or the switch that it toggles in the brain can literally transform your life from day to night or night to day. It is so amazing if you look at the NLP process of it, which we won't get into the science behind it, but to break it down again, your mind is a roadmap. And in your first 7 years of development, we have been brainwashed to believe glass cuts, fire burns, and we are conditioned to a certain way of thinking that limits us in our daily lives, be it in our finances, our relationships, in our daily lifestyle. We have been limited by our belief system. And what firewalking does is allow people to break that system, break that belief system, and build a brand new road on that roadmap to a place of limitlessness, where they can literally overcome any limitation in their life, be it finances, relationship, business, or their own workspace, that they can, if they can walk over fire. I mean, if you can walk on 690 degrees of burning fire, you can achieve anything that you put your mind to.
And not actually feel anything.
Exactly.
Which is, so, as I said, I did it for the first time 20 days ago. And in the 20 days, I've seen a lot of transformation happening, which I think is incredible. Now, as you know, as you may know, I do NLP, I do hypnosis, which is amazing, but it's like that on speed. It's really incredible. And because you eradicate the blockages that's in your mind, life just moves forward for you beautifully, quickly, easily, effortlessly. It's not really magic, it's just science,
Definitely.
but it works. So that's my story and that's your explanation. But you only started this about a year ago, right?
That is correct.
Now, before that year, things were not as beautiful as they are at the moment. So do you want to tell us where that started? Like, I've heard a bit of your story, so do you want to share with all of us where it is that you come from, how it is that you got into firewalking, because you went from being homeless to not being homeless.
That is correct, Adrian. So, the beginning of this year, after a very amazing life, I must say, but very different to what I'm living right now. A life of all I knew was ministry, traveling, speaking to massive crowds, and that on a ministry basis, coming from a history of being a pastor, a ordained prophet actually, and coming to a point at the beginning of this year where life hit us from every single possible angle. And you can point fingers and you can blame the universe, you can blame God, you can blame the devil, like we all tend to want to do. But at the end of the day, we create our own destiny. We are creators in our self-right, and we create the path for us. And I had to realize that the hard way, because in the beginning of this year, in 1 month, in January, we lost everything. We lost our accommodation, we lost our vehicle. My wife actually lost her mother, lost her aunt in 1 month, and lost her cousin that was like her best friend to cancer actually. the very thing she was diagnosed that month with herself. And that all happened in a matter of a month. I was physically attacked as well, thrown against the wall with my 1-year-old daughter on my arm by the people that actually caused all of us, well, to lose everything in this major scam that we were caught in. And we landed up in the situation of being in this dark, ugly pit. And that's where I had to realize that we can't blame anyone but ourselves. As harsh as that sometimes sounds, that we are the cause of everything, be it good or bad. And we had to realize that, and that poverty is nothing but a mindset.
Well, the thing that I always say to people is that you don't have to believe in the complete law of attraction. You don't have to light fires, you don't have to burn candles, none of that stuff. But if you can maybe just open yourself to the idea that if you don't like where your life is at the moment, that you got you there with your own thoughts. If you can just be slightly open to that as a start, that kind of opens the door that life can be very different for you.
Definitely. So at that point, I had to force myself to think different and to live differently. And it was not an easy process whatsoever, because my whole life, all I knew was that one thing. And I had to be open-minded, and I was introduced to a business system that at that moment of time didn't make sense to me. I didn't see how that would change my situation.
It's usually like that.
And through that process, I was also introduced to mind power. And I thought, well, what have I got to lose? I am literally rock bottom. There is no lower than this. And all I can do is try. And at that moment, I decided to give the business a shot as well as mind power. And in the company that I joined, I got introduced to a lot of people that were teaching mind power in the different courses of law of attraction, and got to watch The Secret for the first time, that I was always telling everyone to stay far from.
But did you only see it for the first time a year ago?
Yes, I actually only saw it in this year, because I always used to tell people to stay away from it.
Evil.
It's evil. And I watched it, and I'll never forget, I watched it probably about midnight that one evening, and my son that you have met watched it with me, Seth. And he started visualizing and putting a vision board together before I did. And he understands the whole concept of the law of attraction, and he actually teaches it at the age of 5.
But somehow he just gets it. I was listening to him the other day. When did I assist with a firewalk? Because not only did I do it, I also get to assist in it, which was so cool. And he walked 6 times, and he's
6
5
times.
years old.
5 years old.
First time that he did it.
That's correct.
Now, when we speak about mind power, why don't you determine mind power to be? For anybody they've never heard this concept before, it's something completely new to them. What are we talking about when referring to mind power?
I think right now there's 2 thought patterns regarding mind power. Some people think it's positive thinking, which is definitely not. Positive thinking, in my opinion, is going to get you nowhere. And then there's this thought pattern of mind power being super spiritual on the demonic side, and you're using demonic entities to attract what you want, which is, it's in my opinion, neither of the 2. We have been given Christ consciousness, this higher consciousness, to create our reality. And our thoughts, and it's been scientifically proven, as you said earlier, it's nothing magical, it's simple science. It actually releases chemical reactions and patterns into the universe in frequencies that your thoughts, your words, your actions are powerful forces of attraction. So when you think a thought and you start to speak it, understanding that there's power in your words, and you start to live in that action, you actually release an energy into the universe that attracts that very energy back to you.
It's like, what got me fascinated, because I said, so I did the firewalk, and then I woke up the following morning. Now my analytical mind needed to understand what was happening. So this is basically what it is. You're not really creating anything new. It's already there, but what you do is you are powerfully aligning yourself with greater possibilities of life, because you eradicate the things that are not in alignment with it. The thought patterns, the beliefs about yourself and about life.
That is correct, 100%.
So when you come and do a firewalk, because it seems scary, what can one expect?
Well, first of all, when it comes to firewalking, I think first of all they think, as you say, scary, burning, and as you know, the word burn and the word hot is swear words. We do not use that because it comes down to creating that thought pattern once again. So we need to realize that fire does not burn, and we need to instill that into our minds, because the greatest liar is the mind. It is the greatest deceiver, and when you see that fire, it immediately wants to tell you burn. So you need to tell yourself that it's ice cold, and you need to condition yourself into this belief system that it is ice cold, that it is a healing element to bring healing and to nurture us from that perspective. And then when people walk over it for the first time, what I have discovered is a lot of people doubt the fact that it's real. They actually say, no, but these coals are dead. And I've seen so many times, as mentioning earlier today, that on the second or the third time that they walk, they get this arrogance because they say, no, but this is ice cold, it's dead cold, and they actually get taught quite a decent lesson by the cold.
It's not.
Because they realize that it's not cold, that it's 690 degrees, and that you can get seriously burnt if you're not focused, and that your vibrational frequency isn't higher than the fire.
I remember when I first did it, because I walked across it, and when I finished it, you said to me, feel, so I felt with my hands, and I went like, it's hot, it's hot. But it really, really is, and it's really amazing. But let's just move back a little bit, because you know, so in a year your life has moved on, it's really wonderful. Your life moved on, my life moved on, everybody else that does it, their life moved on. But, you know, sometimes I believe that the people that make a difference in this world, or make a big difference in this world, sometimes they need to have quite a difficult past. Now, your past was not that easy. Your upbringing was not that easy.
Definitely.
Okay, are you comfy to talk about that?
By all means.
Okay. Briefly.
Okay, so quite a lot of people that know me from a ministry side have seen the DVD on my life, read about my life story already, or been in a live service where I've actually shared my testimony. But very briefly, I come from a background of being rejected by my parents, being cast out, being taken in by another family. So having a stepmom and stepdad that's supposed to be parental figures to me, but I knew nothing but abuse. From as young as I can remember, I was physically abused, sexually abused, emotionally abused. I remember the times where my stepmother tried to murder me. I remember the time where she used the knife. I can picture the knife still vividly in front of me. I remember the time where they tried to drown me. I remember being sexually abused by various people, family and spiritual leaders at a young age, and I had to land up on the street to break away from that. I had to consciously make a decision, you know, this is not the life that I want to live. And I had to look after myself and fend for myself. And if I can say so myself, I don't think I've done such a bad job.
Well, you're still here.
Yeah, so I actually started looking after myself, staying on the streets, going from one place to the next. Had amazing experiences, believe it or not, on the street, and it was an amazing learning curve. And I actually say sometimes that some of my best days was actually on the street. Sounds crazy, but I learned a lot and experienced an amazing amount of people that I surrounded myself with as well at that time. And it also grew me in ministry, where I thought at that time where I was supposed to be. And as I say, I had to move from place to place, both by choice but also force because of my situation.
Yeah.
And impacted a lot of people's lives, but never really felt fulfilled, in my opinion. And then opened a church, got married and lost everything. Lost my marriage, lost my daughter, and got to a point that I thought I was done with the church and the ministry and also with women. And 3 years later, which was about 9 years ago, I was pulled back into ministry, met a woman that I got engaged to, that I eventually got married to, and I started traveling, preaching on TV and everything, but it was not an easy ride. The second time around, I think it was even more tough. The challenges, the attacks, the poverty that struck us so many times until where we actually lost everything again at the beginning of this year.
But you know what I think it is, and I look at my own life as well. I mean, I grew up quite difficultly. I was poor. There's sometimes I would go to bed, we didn't have food to eat. I was raped when I was 23. I had no confidence, all that type of stuff. But when I look at it now, it's so amazing. When I see somebody come towards me, I somehow know that you're going to be okay, you know? And there is a question that I always ask anybody who ever works with me. All I want to know is, are you willing to change your life? You know? You don't need to know how to do it, but do you have that willingness to have a different experience of life? Because if you do, I believe that the right people will come across your path.
Definitely.
So that might seem like a very strange question. We slightly touched on it, but from everything that you had in your life experience, what do you think is the blessing and the lessons that you got out of that? And how would you be able to help others as a result of everything that you went through?
Sometimes it's a bit harsh to actually say that you've gone through something for a reason. And I know that we always use that statement, but I really believe it's true. If we don't understand it at times, and we might say, yeah, but how can you say I went through sexual molestation for a reason, which I have gone through? It just doesn't make sense. But at the end of the day, right now, I can go and speak to other people that's been abused, that's been molested by their uncles, their aunts, their fathers, spiritual leaders or whatever, and I can understand. I can have true sympathy and empathy for their situation because I've been there. And I think that's why my heart always breaks, and that I'm moved by that sense of compassion when I see someone on the streets, when I see someone that's even stuck in prostitution or in any system of abuse or homelessness or poverty, because I've been there. And I think it's really taught me a lot. Also being in that situation and seeing other people, and I'm not saying that I judge people for it, but seeing other people when I was homeless, seeing how they would treat you like a dog. And many times still, some people will look at me when they see that I'm feeding someone, or there was a time in Grassy Park where I literally took my shirt off and I was bare chest because there was someone else that didn't have a shirt on, and they literally rebuked me for doing this because that is a homeless person. They want to be in that situation. They brought themselves there. The reality is that is most of the time not the case. And so I could see from that perspective also, and I'm not judging the people that do this, but I could see how people look down on people. And now I've come to a point that my life, I literally wake up, and I think even my wife sometimes doesn't understand, but I'll wake up in the morning with that desire and that urge to be able to clothe someone, to feed someone.
But that's what I like about you. You really want to change the world. Definitely. And I think that is the thing that I think when we kind of realize that we've got that same sort of, I won't really call it an ambition, it's more like a passion to help people and to realize, or to help them realize how amazing your life can actually be. It's got nothing to do with enabling them. This is your life. This is how wonderful it can be. Now go and live it.
Yes, for sure.
But now tell me, how does it feel when, you know, somebody who's supposed to take care of you tries to kill you? What goes through your mind? I suppose different people have different stuff. Is it the same every time?
I think it's different for everyone and different per incident. For me personally, I came to a point, because growing up I'd never ever experienced love. I never knew what it was. I never had a father figure. My father was an alcoholic, the one that took me in, and he was never at home. So the mom that was there only abused me. And I'll never forget the time where I had an encounter at the age of 12 and I saw a vision, and I think that's where my whole path unknowingly started towards Christ consciousness from that young age until where I am today, where I fully understand it.
And sorry, when you say Christ consciousness, what do you mean by that?
Well, at the age of 12, I saw this image. I didn't know what the hell I was seeing. I actually personally thought at the time that I needed to be booked into a mental institute.
Was it like light, or did it talk?
It was a light in the form of a man, and I heard this gentle voice. And I felt as crazy as it may sound, because I didn't know what love was, but I felt love. I knew that this thing that I was feeling was love and acceptance. And it was the first time I'd ever felt it, and it felt good. And because the church could answer my question, and I'm not speaking against any religion or faith or church, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, we're not about that.
Yes, but because church could answer who I had seen, in terms of that, I kind of associated church people to being the same as this person that I had seen, which was maybe a big mistake, because humans do make mistakes. And I met up with a pastor along the line, and to answer the question that you asked initially, people hurting me, and this person was actually more of a parent to me than what I had had before. He was like a father figure to me emotionally and spiritually.
Are you talking about the light?
No, this pastor that I actually met after. But I associated what I had experienced from the light to being in this person as well.
But it's all you knew?
Yes, because that's all I knew. And we actually had a prayer meeting one night, and he called this prayer meeting for a bunch of boys. He said it's only open to the boys. Long story short, we didn't have any praying going on that night. And about a week later, he actually sexually molested me. And I realized at that time, the only time that anyone would ever love me, accept me, or be there for me, is to use me, abuse me, and throw me straight back out on the streets. So for me, I had developed this thought pattern, and I think I was past hurting. I just developed this thought pattern that this is what I deserved. I deserved being rejected. I deserved being unloved and thrown on the street, and that I was in no way worthy of someone's love or acceptance. So I felt it more that it was normal and it was supposed to happen. And that's actually quite sickening and sad if I look back at it, because if I look back at that, I know there's others that is in that same situation today.
Well, you know what I had? There was a little time ago when I still blows my mind, but because I used to think that I could see through everything. But I actually found myself in a very emotionally sort of abusive relationship. And I think this is very important for everybody to understand, that a lot of times you will ask somebody, how can you get yourself in there? Why don't you pull yourself out? But when people emotionally abuse you, they don't just basically start today and they completely abuse you. It's a little bit of a give and take thing. So it becomes a habit for you, it becomes part of who you are. It becomes normal.
Yes.
So you don't actually realize that you're being abused, because it's like breathing. It's just your life. So, but how do you get out of there? The way that I got out of this is because I lost everything. So I suppose you should kind of be careful sometimes when you ask the universe for help. So I asked the universe for help and it made me lose everything because I wouldn't listen to the guidance.
Well, everyone tells me my whole life already that when I'm determined about something, I run full force and nothing stops me. And I think I was in a place that I was determined. I was telling myself that I deserved it, but even though I knew that I deserved it, I did not want it, if it made any sense. And I told myself, you know what, I'm going to get out of this. To the extent that I even said, I'm changing my surname. I've done research on that, and I said, you know what, when I become of age, I'm going to Home Affairs, I'm paying the $280 that I had to pay, and I'm changing my surname. So the surname I've got today is a purchase surname, because I said, you know, for me to get out of this abuse, for me to get out of this place of being physically, emotionally, and spiritually abused, is I need to cut all ties and start my own life. So it was a conscious decision even to be on the streets, not because I didn't turn to substances or anything. I continued my spiritual journey. I continued in the church even, but I wanted nothing to do with that family. So I cut all ties. I changed my surname when I became of age, and I started looking after myself. So I don't even have, which is quite incredible in a way, I don't even have a proper schooling education, but I taught myself everything I know today. And this year, which has been amazing, I've now been able to educate myself and start getting certificates and degrees.
So did you finish school or not?
No.
Okay. So tell me, you don't have to verbalize it, but in your personal capacity, have you reached a stage where you've got sufficient amount of detachment where you could actually say that's something that you used to have and it doesn't bother you?
Definitely. What has been amazing, and I know the firewalking's only come now, but even what I've seen, another woman that was also sexually molested, and she walked over the fire and she was able to get complete breakthrough. And I had a chat with her. And I believe that it will play a big role for anyone else that wants to get that healing. But for me, obviously it wasn't the firewalk yet, but I was able to come to a point that I made contact with that pastor, and it took me about 3-4 years to find him. I searched all over because I didn't forget his name. I'm not going to mention the name. And I found him on social media, on Facebook.
I could imagine he didn't want to be found.
Yeah, I inboxed him and I actually told him that I forgive him. And
how did that feel?
You know, a lot of times we are holding ourselves in prison, in bondage, by not forgiving someone because it doesn't affect them in any way.
Yeah.
It affects us, and it's a slow killer. And I felt that relief. I felt that healing taking place. I thought that I'd actually got complete healing, but I actually felt that day that I received complete healing on that instance, on inside of me. And I told him, you know, let's meet for coffee, let's chat. And I said, I've got no hard feelings, and
this is not a trap.
That's correct. And then I even met up with my stepmom.
Yeah.
And she told me that she was abused as a child. Not that it's an excuse for her doing what she done, but she actually wanted to apologize. And I stopped her and I said, listen, yeah, it's in the past. I've forgiven you already. We don't need to bring it up anymore. We move on. So I was able to go and face her as well. And what has been so amazing, understanding the law of attraction, a few weeks ago, and this is like literally a few weeks ago, I put out in the universe that I wanted to make contact with my real parents again and get healing there. I mean, I put my own father in prison. I mean, he probably wanted to kill me. And he made contact with me a few weeks ago, just after putting it out there. And I was in a place, even though I felt that I got healing, I was in a place that I thought to myself, if they had to pass away one day, that it would not affect me emotionally, that I'll just have no feelings to it. But when he spoke to me on the phone, the tears just started rolling. And I mean, I was chatting to my mom again this morning, and it's just been so amazing that I've been able to get through this whole year. Literally has been a year of healing, a year of spiritual growth, a year of opening doors for me also to be able to help others to heal and grow as well, which has been incredible.
You know, it's so amazing. 2 days ago, I remember it so profoundly. I used to work for this company, and it was a call center, but it was a very, very, very toxic environment. And I finished working there like probably about 2.5 years ago, plus minus. And I thought I was over it because I just said, I literally walked into work this one morning, and I told my team leader, I came in to resign. He's like, why did you send me a message? But, so I've never really gone there again to the actual place itself. And I was just finding myself walking up the road, and suddenly I was going to something very close to a panic attack, which is not a very usual sort of thing for me. And I think it's just when you have those sort of things showing up in life, you know. So I go, okay, after I've gone like all my hyperventilating and stuff for 10-15 minutes, it's like, okay, all right, I see you. This is my emotion speaking, this is my body saying, there's some pain that's still stuck somewhere. Thank you for showing up. I am prepared to let you go. Whatever I need to forgive, whatever I need to let go, thank you for showing up. You walk your path, I now walk my path. And this is what I love about firewalking, because it's letting go of things that could affect you very negatively, and you don't even know that it's there.
Definitely. Also on that note, the fire, we need to understand it's one of the elementals, and it communicates to us. And the beauty of, I don't know if we should actually mention the kissing, but the fire is very romantic at times, very seldom, but there has been the odd occasion that someone will have a kiss. Now what a kiss is, it's a very, 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 very slight.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. We want to talk about that.
Yeah. Burn is not the right word because it doesn't feel like a burn, but it's a slight kiss. So the fire gives you the slight kiss. Very seldom that it happens in my walks, but if it happens, first of all, it's not really a burn. You will see that it's not really a burn. It's just a slight little mark there. And if you understand reflexology, which is amazing, one of the people on the team, Mia, is a qualified reflexologist, and on your foot, as in many other places of the body, like your ear and so forth, it's connected to every single organ of your body. And on your foot, you can actually see where you're being kissed. If that refers to your kidney that needs healing, or your liver, or your heart, or whatever area of your body, maybe it's your spinal cord. And when you actually look at that, every single time that someone has been kissed, which has only been like less than a handful of times in my firewalks, and we've done a whole lot already, and where Mia's looked at the people's feet, and she can tell them specifically in their body what's wrong, they every single time have acknowledged that's exactly what they are going through or what is wrong with their body. And every single time up until today, we've got testimonies back that they were healed completely in that area. And some people have actually gone off medications or whatever. Now, obviously, I'm not a medical doctor. I will not tell someone to go off medicine. That is for your doctor to tell you. But we have seen it time and time again that they come back and they say, you know, the doctor says that I'm healed in this area, I don't have to. And the fire actually will kiss you in that area where you need healing. And people actually get physical healing, which is phenomenal.
Well, that's what's got me so excited about it, because technically speaking, it's a waking hypnosis.
Yes.
Technically speaking. And so it's not really about what you're having right now, but it's going to the root cause of what caused it to happen initially, you know, which is usually emotions. Like, it can be many other stuff, but when you really boil it down, it's usually emotions.
Well, what is emotions? Emotions is energy in motion.
Exactly.
It's connected to every single sickness that we go through. Our emotions trigger, the energy triggers that sickness.
So, you do a couple of other stuff as well. Now, if somebody feels they want to transform their life, okay, do you do private fire walkings? Do you sit down and speak to them? If somebody wants to contact you, like, we're going to add your contact details, but now somebody wants to contact you and they want to know, Raymond, what do you do? What can I expect? Why would I come to you?
Okay, so we do corporate events where if there's a team building, whatever the company wants to do, and take the sales team, for an example, that's mostly it's sales teams and so forth. Call centers love this type of event. If it's an indoor event, then it would usually be a glass walk where we walk on broken glass. Otherwise, if there's a roof area, we can take the fire walk onto the roof even.
Okay.
So corporate events to help your staff push their abilities to the next level. So you can obviously book RK Life Coaching for that, as well as, believe it or not, we've had the one church in Uppington, like I told you. So even church events that where I can come and talk on Christ consciousness, and where we can have that faith to overcome anything. And if you can walk over fire and to beat that ultimate challenge, you can beat any area of hurt, abuse, or anything that you're facing, and get that ultimate breakthrough that you're trusting for. So church events, and then camps. We do camps throughout the years. Like, we got one coming up in Grabo now in April.
And I'm going!
Awesome, part of the team. So that's going to be a 3-day event. And at that event, we go through a lot more of the NLP process. We talk on mind power, quantum time, and so it's a whole, it's 3 stages throughout the 3 days, where we will literally take you through the different 3 stages. And through those 3 stages, it will build up to the last day, which will be the firewalk. And you will do board breaking boards with energy, basically, walking into hunting arrows. But that whole weekend, you could even call it a spiritual weekend, spiritual growth, spiritual empowerment, and it will guarantee take your life to the next level. So we've got those, so you can just follow us on our Facebook page for those events. Then we've got the 1-day events, which will be me talking on mind power usually for the day, ending off with a firewalk. And then we've joined up with amazing people like Adrian at festivals, and that we will be having the firewalks at least once a month at the holistic festivals, where we'll be having fireworks as well, which for me that's going to be more for just giving back to the community.
Yeah.
For me, and I think Adrian's seen that, for me it's not about the money whatsoever, it's to change lives, and I just want to give back and see lives change like my life has been changed. So we've got the 3-day events, the 1-day events, we've got the corporate events. I do a lot of talks in Durban as well. For the last 3 months I've been booked every single Thursday, where I've actually flown up to Durban, where they actually book a hall there, and I just go talk on mind power. And so you can book me for any one of these events, be it the 1-day or the 3-day or just a corporate event, and I can come and talk.
There's no 2-day option?
I'm
just thinking for a weekend, because usually people finish work on a Friday and then maybe having something on a Saturday and a Sunday, so I'm just curious.
Most definitely we can do the 2 days. I don't think we should box this into any sort of criteria. So whatever event that you've got, and if you want to take that event to the next level and your guest to the next level in your event, and you're thinking of doing a firewalk, please make contact with me, make contact with Adrian, and allow us to take this process of developing your mind and really taking people to a whole new energy vibe in the energy web through this process by collaborating with whatever event you've got. So it doesn't matter if it's 1 day, 2 day or 3 day or even a week. I know that we've been talking about a longer event even.
Yeah.
That's going to be coming up. So I don't think we should box it into any type of event or type of time frame. Whatever you have currently planned, if you just want to take that to the next spiritual dimension or next energy vibrational frequency, please make contact with me.
I think it's more of what did you like in your life, what did you like from yourself, what did you like from your team, so what is your objective really, and then we can discuss options around it.
Definitely.
Now, just in closing, for anybody who's watching this, who's sitting at home or at work or wherever, all right, as a person that comes from a past where I was very depressed, feeling very alone, because usually when life goes a little south, you feel alone. So you don't ask for help because you think your problem is unique, which first of all, I don't believe it's true. And so for anybody who's watching this right now, who feels they've got no hope, nothing left in this world to live for, can just as well jump off a building, or what did you say to that sort of person?
I personally, I first want to tell you, if I know that we've been keeping you for quite some time, but I want to tell you a little brief scenario of what happened to me a couple of years ago when I actually tried to commit suicide.
Oh, you also tried it? I also tried it.
Yes, I've tried it more than once.
No, I only did it once.
Landed up in hospital the first time because someone found me, tried to rescue me.
Were you upset?
Very upset.
It's weird. I know I'm deviating from your story now, but I didn't want to be saved. I think a lot of times people say when people speak about suicide that you're just looking for attention and stuff like that.
That's right.
I had no interest in being saved.
Yeah.
It was quite difficult because I wanted everybody to know that it wasn't their fault, and I wanted nobody to stop me.
Yeah. I think kind of the same scenario with me. Unfortunately, I was found in the park, rushed to hospital, pumped out my stomach, and then
you took tablets?
I took a whole bunch of tablets, and then this doctor...
There is such a blasé way to kill yourself. Couldn't you be more creative?
And then the doctor, the next morning, literally went off at me, telling me how to kill myself. And I thought, what the bloody hell's wrong with this doctor? So anyway, then I thought, okay, the next time I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to be a burden to anyone. I'm already such a burden, so no one's going to find me. And I'm not going to be a burden after I've died. I'm already a burden while I'm alive.
Because you actually think that you're doing the world a favor.
Yes, that's exactly how it felt. So I went to actually go and scan out this patch of grass. It's in Kirstenhof area. There was a space there that I knew was kind of secluded, and no one goes there. And I knew if I go kill myself there, no one's gonna find me. I'm just gonna rot away.
Did you feel sorry for yourself?
Yeah, everyone's gonna live a happy life. So I went there, checked out the area. I got everything in place, and that was the Friday. The Saturday morning, I said, okay, now I'm gonna go kill myself.
Yeah.
Saturday I went, prepared to kill myself, and I crossed the road, the road that goes up to Westlake. I don't know what road that is, but I crossed over from Lakeside towards Kirstenhof area, crossed the road, and there was this homeless guy there, drunk out of his mind, and he was calling me the whole time. And I'm like, leave me alone. I want to kill myself.
Now.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you chose very beautiful areas in Cape Town to go.
There we go. So I'm like, this guy's bothering me. I want to kill myself. I'm on a mission. And he says, sir, please, I don't want your money. I don't want your time. I need to tell you something.
Yeah.
And it's like something inside me pulled. And I turned around and he looked at me and he asked for forgiveness. And he said, please forgive me, but I need to sing you the song. And he started to sing, You'll Always Be a Child in My Eyes. And I fell to my knees weeping that day. And I believe fully that at that moment, if it wasn't for that moment, I wouldn't be sitting here next to you today. Then I would have taken my life. And, at that moment, I discovered that as evil as this world may seem, and as evil as all those people out there may seem, there is angels out there, like Adrian. There is angels out there that is waiting to impact your life and to bring that light into your life and that hope into your life. And I'm thankful that I met that angel that day, because I believe that was an angel that changed my life. And we would look down on someone like that was homeless, dressed funny, smelt funny, and drunk out of his mind. But that was the person that gave me hope and made me feel worthy for the first time again after many, many years. And whoever's watching this and feels that there's nobody out there that loves you, or that you feel rejected, or you've gone through maybe any way similar to what myself or Adrian has gone through, I want to tell you that you are not alone, that there are people out there that, I don't like to say that we know what you've gone through or going through, because as Adrian says, no one is unique in this situation. We all go through stuff, but everyone is affected differently maybe. But there is people that's gone through that or is going through it, that you don't have to go through it alone. There's someone that wants to take your hand and walk through. And even if it is that you make contact with Adrian today, make contact with me today, that we can sit down with you and really walk this road. And that's my heart. I would love to walk that journey with you, even if it is to take you out for breakfast, take you out for coffee, and just have a chat and let you know that there's someone that is just a call or WhatsApp away to listen. If you need to scream at me, that there is someone out there that wants to help, and that there is a greater life. But ultimately, it is our choice. It is not your situation that you're going through. It's not the person that done it to you that controls your destiny from today. It's your choice if you want to stay in that situation, or if you want to pick up that phone and shout at me. And that will be one step closer to changing your reality, because ultimately we have created that reality that we find ourselves in today. And if you can take that step today and say, you know what, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, but am I? And that's the question you need to ask yourself today. Am I? And that's why I've got this one band here that says, whatever it takes. Am I willing to do whatever it takes to change my reality? And if you are today willing to do whatever it takes, make contact with us. Allow us to sit with you. Go through a session of NLP, hypnosis, firewalking. I love how Adrian put it. I never saw it like that, but it's exactly what it is. It is basically an awakened hypnosis process. It is, as I said, it's switching or toggling that switch. What I have seen accomplished in hours of talking, I've seen that same accomplishment of a few seconds of firewalking.
Yeah.
It is so phenomenal and so life-changing. So if you are willing today to take control of your life and say, you know what, instead of taking a moment or a permanent solution to a temporary problem, which is taking your life, and most of the time we just end up more angry that we did not die, and more upset and more depressed, rather make contact with us and make contact with someone that wants to help you and be willing to take control of your future today.
Okay. And he offered you breakfast. Raymond's a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire yet. So he offered you breakfast.
Going to be there.
Going to be there, but not yet. He offered you breakfast, okay?
Definitely.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for joining. Very much appreciated. Check out some of the other interviews that we have as well, just to see some of the other wonderful practitioners that might actually be perfect for you, because the reason why we do this is because you get people like us, extremely hyperactive, always making a noise, but maybe you need somebody more calm, or there's some people that are quite motherly, some are very soft-spoken. So it's about offering you the platform to reach out to whoever resonates with you. Okay? Because effectively at the end of the day, it is your life, and it's your choice how you'd like to experience it. So check out the other videos. Thank you very much for joining. Myself and Raymond Khan of RK Life Coaching. I'm going to put all his details down below. Again, I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you,
Pleasure.
viewers.
Huh?
Namaste.
Namaste.